Welcome back to the Illuminated Path. This is episode 51. Today is a live coaching episode with Elise. Elise and I talk a lot about the energy and frequency around money. We talk about how she can sometimes feel like she goes unconscious when she spends money and feeling like she has a difficult time holding on to money. So we really dive into what that means. We talk about the energy of giving and receiving money. And we talk about how it's important to really have gratitude for money and for what money does for you as a resource, even when you're using money to, pay for bills or buy groceries, the things that might not be the most fun and enjoyable things, but having gratitude for money in those situations. So listen to the coaching episode to hear the conversation with Elise. Thank you so much, Elise, for joining me today. It's so great to have you. What can I help you with today? What is your question?
Hi, I would like to have more insight with the energetics of money,
Mm,
how to hold that frequency.
okay.
So that way, when I'm moving from day to day, I can recognize the frequency, recognize when I'm not in alignment with that frequency,
Yeah.
and to bring myself back to alignment.
Okay. So I think my first question for you is then how do you how do you currently feel about money? What is the current um because I you said like hold money and hold that mindset, but how does it currently feel to you? Like how is it really showing up in a way that's feeling like it's difficult for you
Um, at first, it's very exciting.
when
Like
you
even the thought of money
okay.
is very exciting.
Yeah.
And then after, I don't know, I kind of go into like this tunnel vision of like spiraling out of control for
Okay.
a little bit of time. And then it's just like, oh, I can have whatever I want. And then realizing that like I still need to, I don't know, it's weird because like it throws me out of alignment.
Right.
Um, and I've done tons of nervous system work. I've been able to reprogram myself with Kundalini yoga and breath work
Mm,
with so many other areas of my life except for this point.
okay.
And it does make me excited. I enjoy, I never looked at myself that I had lack,
Okay.
but money, I don't know, it's just energetically speaking, it has its own language.
Yeah, it absolutely does. I'm curious a little bit about how, like, what was the language used for you around money when you were younger and growing up and with parents?
Mm. Um, so my parents owned their own business, and it was a very fast, cash-paced business
Hmm.
certain times of the year.
Okay.
And when the season was ripe, there was a lot of cash coming in. And the times that I remember, my mom, it was very, let's get rid of this money so the government doesn't know we have it.
Huh, that's okay. That's an
And
interesting, yeah. Okay.
yeah, because it was like if we have cash and the government knows, then they're going to tax us. So then, like, we have to get rid of it to be able to,
Hmm.
not show that we have it, kind of thing. I don't know. It's super weird. um, and so I wasn't like this 10 years ago, and I've just fallen back into this rhythm of when I have it, I get rid of it. And it's very interesting to watch, and it's also frustrating.
Hmm. So thinking back to that happening as a child, do you kind of see the connection there at all? Does that feel similar in any
Oh
way?
yeah.
Yeah, of like you have it
Yeah,
and then you're not
definitely.
keeping it.
Yeah.
But do you feel like you struggle with receiving it, or you just struggle with keeping it when you have it?
Mm, sometimes I struggle with receiving it,
Okay.
but I know that if I work for it, I can get the amount that I'm desiring
Yeah.
tenfold,
Mm,
but then it's just like it's like too much for my brain to handle, and it's like, let's buy this, let's do this, let's, all the things that we haven't been able to do. And I guess that was the same growing up. It was like, oh, now we're going to go take a trip to Florida. Now we're going to go do this. Now we're going to send you to this camp. Now we're going to, so it was like throughout the year, there'd be certain times that we didn't really do much. And then all of a sudden we did all the things.
right.
And it's very much the same.
Okay. So it feels a little bit more like not that you are in like that scarcity mindset so much because you are able to receive it. And it really did sound like you just had like that faith and that belief that if you're, wanting to receive and make money, like you know how to do so. But it's more about finding that balance and I think changing the thoughts and the beliefs around when you do have it, how can you keep it balanced so that you can spend it and use it where you want to and purchase things or go on trips and you of course still want to be able to do those things and that's a good thing. And also feeling good about doing those things, like having so much gratitude for that and still feeling safe and secure and content with the amount of money that you have, like that you're holding, that you're
Mm,
saving.
mm-hmm.
Does that
Yeah,
feels
that
right?
resonates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, something else that just came to mind too is do you feel like so when you're saying like you like holding it, um, I like to really see money as like a resource and I really dive into the energy of giving and receiving and that you receive money and also give money. Like you can't have one without the other. So I'm curious about if you have any practices in your life that feel like you are giving and that kind of gives that balance between feeling good when you're receiving. Um, yeah, I'm curious about that for you.
Ooh. I feel like I have a hard time giving.
Okay.
Um,
What is the
yeah.
feeling about or what is the thought behind that? What anything else coming up for you as to why that might feel hard?
So maybe it's not I have a hard time giving.
Mhm.
I do enjoy giving. I do enjoy helping people, and I do enjoy, you know, putting myself out there. But there's definitely been like a selfishness going on with, I stay at home with my kids. They're homeschooled,
Mhm.
and there's a lot that needs to be done during the day. And because I give so much when I have time for myself,
Yeah.
I tend to just zone out. And there's, I have to keep my cup filled,
Right.
which I have a pretty good morning routine
Mhm.
with mindset and everything else. But I'm wondering if I'm not able to give to my business what I would love to give to my business because I'm already giving in so many other areas.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, if that's an area that you're looking to give, more in, if that's time or money or just energy in general. But um I also heard you say like that you kind of zone out um when you have that like time to yourself, and is that
Mm.
when you kind of tend to spend some of the money and then you're like, wait, what just kind of happened there?
Ooh. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
So is it almost like a treat for yourself for the hard work that you are putting in? And
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And I think that there's, again, I think it's finding that balance. So it's a little bit of like you're going kind of unconscious, right? And you're like, well, I'm going to just spend this money. And that's going back
Mm.
to, your childhood of that's what you knew. That's how you kind of learned to spend money. So you're unconscious, you're kind of becoming unconscious today and going back to that pattern a little bit. Um and also the level of like treating yourself because you are putting in work, and of course and if you're earning money and you want to get yourself this or that, or have experiences, like you should be able to do that, of course. But I do think that there's a level of balance that you might be looking for that would feel better, where you can either plan it a little bit better and know what you have set aside for, something extra for yourself, and being able to give to your business, which it sounds like is something that you are looking to do.
Yes.
And I'm curious if you've
Yeah.
ever done any sort of like small practices where you do become very conscious around when you are spending money. So something that I've done in the past is anytime I have like made a small purchase, whether it's a coffee or gone and gotten groceries, or even when I'm paying bills, taking a moment to become conscious and like really being thankful for the money, being thankful for the resources. And that can be very helpful in allowing you to become more conscious when you are in like the money energetics, like when you are dealing with the resource of money, the energy of money. Every time that
Mm.
you're going to be spending it, be thankful for it, because then you're really giving into that energy of the money. It is somewhat, it's giving, giving to a business that you're purchasing from or whatever it may be. But a little bit of that can be really helpful to help you stay conscious, so that if you are then going to want to spend on something for yourself, bring yourself back to that conscious and be mindful and be thankful for it. And then it'll maybe feel a little better, like, yeah, I'm ready to make this decision, to make this purchase, and I feel good about it, versus like, wait, what did I just spend my money on?
That makes so much sense. I have. It's not all the time, but
Yeah.
I definitely have made a point to subconsciously connect with myself and the frequency of money before spending.
Yeah.
Um, but it doesn't always happen.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think that's one just small thing that I would invite you to try to incorporate again. Even for
Mm.
the smallest things, like just make that a practice. Um, and every time that you receive money, feeling the energy of it. And I'm sure, if you've said you've really connected with it and stuff, that you find that gratitude, but just really finding that gratitude um, every time you're receiving it, like every time you're receiving a paycheck or money is going into your account, like taking a moment to be really grateful for it and knowing that, it is in the right energy.
Mm. Yeah.
Is there anything else that's coming up for you still after I've kind of said a few of those things?
Do you think that setting time to hold on, I'm just repeating the words that are coming in my head. So I'm hopefully I was like, do I trust this? And they're like, go, go, go.
No worries. Take your time.
So I do keep track of money that comes in and money that goes out.
Mhm.
Um, and I do believe that everything resides on its own frequency. And I wonder where the scarcity resides, because obviously there is something there.
Right.
Um, but as far as reprogramming it, like, I mean, I guess it's up to myself to decide when that is reprogrammed, or when, that condition.
Well, I think that, some of the things that you like, just that one thing that you had said to me that you were struggling with was that you felt like you were struggling to keep it.
Mm,
And that's kind of like the pattern that I'm just
okay.
noticing,
Yes.
is that you're receiving it. It doesn't sound like you have fear around receiving it and making it. So it doesn't sound like you're in a scarcity mindset in terms of making money and receiving money, but it's keeping money in a way that feels safe and secure to you. So I think part of that is defining for yourself and for your family what is a safe and secure level of money that feels good to you, that you want to, as you said, like hold on to. Right? Because is there any other reason of why you're saying like you want to hold on to money? Is it to really just to have like that savings for your family just to have, or is there
Yeah.
something that you guys are working towards, like a big purchase or anything like that?
Not really, but
Okay.
over the last 10 years since we've had kids, I haven't really worked as much as I've wanted to.
Mhm.
So when I do receive money from working, it goes towards bills that I have, or groceries or things like that. And it doesn't, um, like, the cup that I'm filling
Mhm.
is less than the money that I'd like to be saving.
Okay.
And so I think that's where the word holding comes in, because I always feel like, I've always got to be paying something off, or
Mhm.
I do tend to, need to buy groceries weekly, or, things like that. So
Right.
I wonder if it's like allowing myself to observe where I'm at, but knowing that the frequency of abundance is so vast
Yeah.
that I can tap into that to essentially make more.
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely a belief, is like the ability to receive even more and to have even more abundance allowed into your life. And like you were saying, like there's always groceries and there's bills, and that's just the reality of life and living. And so if you feel
Mm,
any sort of restriction around, well, I got this money but it's got to go towards groceries, that's kind of the a little bit of what I was saying before, is like sitting in that gratitude of like, I have this, I'm so grateful for the resources to buy these groceries for my family. Is it necessarily like the most exciting purchase that you're making with your money? No, not necessarily. But when you can really sit
it
in the
is
gratitude
essential.
for
Yeah.
it, right? Like these are things that
Yeah.
you know that
Yeah.
you're always going to have to pay for. And that even
Yeah.
maybe that feeling of like, I have to pay for this because like I have to pay for life, just the realities of living and the everyday expenses are always going to be there. So I think that working on the relationship and the thoughts behind
Mm,
how it feels when you're spending money on those types of things too will allow you to just be a little bit more in flow of like you are always receiving and you are always giving towards things that allow you to, live your life and fun things too. And you can also
mm,
save and have like that security and that feeling of um just having the security of having like a savings account that you and your family want to create for yourselves.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Awesome. Um, I think that for you, hopefully that some of this gives you a little bit of insight is just some like small perspective shifts. But one thing I would definitely say that can be really helpful is to really lean into that gratitude when you are spending the money, especially if it's things that you're like, "Ugh, I don't really want to pay this bill." But I got this
Right.
money and I have it and I received it and it felt great, but now it's going towards something I don't really want to pay for. But trying to find the gratitude in
Flipping
that.
that mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any other things coming up for you? Any last questions that I might be able to help you with?
I don't think so. This was amazing. This was good insight and it feels good.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad that I was able to give you a little bit of a different perspective on some things, and hopefully it helps you to, continue to work on that mindset and the energetics of money, and just know that it's always flowing, and so there's always, a different way to relate to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.